Hey, what's up, guys? Hello, Farouk. Good evening. Good evening, Floki, as well. What's up, Nikki and Sleepy Fish? Welcome, Eric. Welcome to the parter, Dookie. I remember that name. Yeah, Duko, Dookie. What's up, man? What's up, everybody? Let me. Great to hear you. I hope you and the family are great. I mean, it's been better times, brother. But let's get into some charts, shall we? Discord really doesn't like my screen share lately, so I really wanted to ask you guys if you can see the screen or not. You see? That's great. Is that the same for everybody here? I see. Nope. Damn, hate to hear it, Duco. Already starts there. I currently had the MicroStrategy chart on here because I was following along a little bit with this as I got some questions about this today, but we're here for the earnings, right? So today we have INTU and we have GAP as the two main things that want to take a look at here. So I'll go to extended trading hours and we'll put on the INTU chart and we'll see where this wants to move, right? Yesterday was a very significant earnings event there on Snowflake. I've seen that, I've taken note of it, and I'm gonna also address that next week where I'm maybe potentially gonna look to do some business. Now for INTU, let's just kind of focus here on this white level at 674.55. Again, I have no idea what the market is going to do, right? But I would imagine that if we do get below this level, and if we then do get back above, that could have been our little fake out with the earnings, and that it could be the typical move below the level, we get back above, and then we start really blasting. Of course, it can also just simply continue down or up in one straight direction. So we don't know that yet, right? I just want to wait and see a little bit, and I'll map out a couple of support levels here for INTU as we go. Also was going to say, like, this low out there at 632.4, that is already a very, like, look at those wicks, you guys. Like, it was just a one wick all the way from 674 to the 640 and back up and back down. I think if we look at 1 minute candlesticks here, we're going to see a monstrosity. So let's zoom out a little bit, right? We want to keep level headed and just look at where are people going to get drastically stopped out here on INTU, and where can we maybe then take it from them. So I'll have some supports ready at 632.4, 596.22, and 555.59. I see two squares. It doesn't load. I feel like maybe we should get tech to help, because it's always a 50-50 split who can see or not, going to turn away possible new members. I absolutely agree with that, Duco. I sincerely, I was on quite a long call with the tech support today, but it was related to even different issues that needed to be addressed. Not even this critical one. I'm just hoping that as many of you as possible can see it, and for those who cannot see my screen, I will repeat the levels again. That's the best I can do then for now for INTU. I'm looking at supports at 632.4, 596.22, and then 555.59. Of course, there's no guarantee that we're gonna get there, so there's a lot of violence here, up and down on the lower time frames. Let's move on to the 5-minute candlestick. I just want to measure this out for a moment. All the way from the top to the bottom of the candlestick, it's a 6.6% move. That's quite the opposite of what Snowflake has done yesterday, right? Big move to the upside. So if this nukes down, I wouldn't be the first buyer. This can easily dwindle down to next supports, and then you want to make sure that you're not too over eager to just allocate your capital into things, right? Things go up, things go down. And INTU, for example, right here looks like it's at least going to come back to 632.4 here. That being said, this scenario from a little move below 674.55 and then getting back above, it seems unlikely. But anyways, this candle can still revert all the way back up and then close back above the white line. That would then look very bullish all of a sudden. But I'm just going to look and kind of trade tomorrow and so on, what I see and what I see so far is that INTU is basically nuking down, and this could, again, with these earnings nukes, if we just zoom out a little bit here to the daily time frame, you see that INTU is doing very, very well, right? But that means that if the chart comes back down, there's for sure some gaps that we could end up filling. So again, not to be the first willing buyer is very, very important. We got plenty of support levels, even 5 here. And so it looks like we're just coming to the first one so far. So it's always interesting to see how the price reacts from these levels, but I anyways just want to see where this is going to open up tomorrow. And it's very likely that we're going to get at some point a good bounce back opportunity, right? For a day trade, for example, back to the upside, but that's not going to be for now. I wanted to put in second chart here as well. GAP was the second stock on the menu for earnings. Let's go to the extended trading hours here as well. And that is already looking, well, for now, a little bit more bullish, right? I do want to zoom out for GAP as well. Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember seeing Quench talk about this as well on one of his market mastery streams. At this point, it looks like we've come quite a long way for GAP, but we've also got some gaps still open from below us. Saying that as INTU is already breaching the first support here, so potentially the next stop is going to be already below $600. I see INTU. We aren't seeing the stream, guys. Mr. Loki, I see that that is a problem for some people joining. Indeed, I don't really know what to do about it at the moment. For GAP, I'm going to put in some levels here as well, and then go back to the lower time frame. Good. This has resistance at 2287. If we could clear above that and hold that as support, this has a way higher higher target to the upside. But similarly, if it basically turns the corner, this can easily nuke back down below below $20. Let's see INTU here, already breaching and closing below the first support at 632.4. So as I said, the next stop would be already below $600 here. I'm so sorry, y'all. I know it's not working for everyone. I hate these stages doing this also. It's incredibly frustrating. I am also on YouTube, though. Maybe I'm hopefully, at least I see quite a lot of people on YouTube following along so far. I hope it's visible there. And I think the YouTube link should be, if you look on Discord, right? It should just be next to what is standing there in the top happening now. Share the link here so we can go there to see this screen. Let's see. Just restart your Discord application and rejoin. It will fix, guys. So I guess that already fixed it for you then, Loki, if you say that. Let me see if I can get the YouTube link here. It's just hold up here. I'll find that as well. Let's see. I'll put in the link right now in the free live stream chat. There you go. All good, Farouk. I appreciate you, man. There is it's specifically with Jay, so something has to be set wrong somewhere. To be honest with you, Duco, I have this problem all the time if I try to join an Eaton stream, to the point where I join it, I see the screen for literally 5 minutes, and the moment I go and turn around to grab a snack, I come back and it's on loading mode. So I guess I would love to get some help to get some better settings, but I definitely have had this problem with others as well, to be honest. I hope that link there in the free live stream chat helps, and I hope I'm well visible and audible on YouTube. No problem at all there, Nikki. I got you. Yes, sir. Farouk, Gap also has their earnings right now, I believe, right? Date, right? Thursday, the 21st of November, after hours. And I also had the earnings report. So if you guys want, I will also post this little link in the chat. You can do your own earnings research. If I move to the second page here on Thursday, November 21st, then Gap, yes, is also one of the many companies actually right now that has earnings after hours. But we just focus on one INTU, which is by far the biggest market cap. And then all of these other names are a little bit less known. And Gap is something that I know Quench has traded, for example, as well. So that's why it is on the radar here. And we have 22.87 as our resistance. So unless we get above that and close above that, we're basically buying against resistance if we're too long here, right? That's not the idea. I wonder when they will go bankrupt, Gap. Honestly, brother, I turned 30 in about a week or two. And I remember being a very small boy and going to holiday to the US and being in Gap stores. So when I heard that this sticker was still around and trading, I was honestly surprised, bro. Like I was like, does this still even exist? But it looks to me like this does not just exist, like it has a very how to say it, a very reasonable position for itself here in the market. This is by no means a bad chart. So if this would, for example, for some reason out of nowhere nuke down to say $17, I'm most certainly going to look for opportunities to go long, not short. Also have a very good evening, Sir Duco. I hope that we can get those settings to work better. I really want some tech help. I've been crying for it, but so far to no avail. It is difficult though, and there's a lot going on. Let's see, INTU really just coming a couple dollars shy here of that next support. But as we broke below this upper level, that level can now turn into resistance. And it looks like Gap is also doing a little bit of an Uno reverse here, right? Straight up from the open and then immediately back down. That is why you don't get excited just by one green candlestick, right? You need to see a confirmation, breaking resistance with some volume. So we can put the volume in here as well. Take this out. Looks like we had a lot of volume for Gap into the close and then a little blip up and like the volume is very, very shallow. That is not ideal what you want to see for a break of resistance, that is. Let's put on the volume here for INTU as well. Let's see. Here, there's all of a sudden a lot coming in, right, on this candlestick that puts in a little bit of a bottom at the moment and then closing back above 632.4 with 13K volume shares. That's if you compare that to anything that was traded all day long, that's significantly more, and that's most certainly a strong candlestick, at least for now, to hold that holds this level here at 632.4. So as long as this level holds, it can then trade back up to the next level above it. If this level fails to hold, we basically look to continue back down. That's how that works. But that is really what you like to see to kind of say to put a stop to all of that selling pressure is a big, good voluminous bar with a lot of green volume, so to speak, to put in a stronger bottom. And this here on Gap, where there's very shallow volume, that's way less trustworthy here. I just want to let it do its thing, because the way that this chart on Gap is set up is a lot of people will be long and they will have stop losses on all these lows here from all these candlesticks. And then you get the typical scenario sometimes where it goes up and it's like a slow grind up, and notice how all of these candlesticks are very, very small. And then you're coming into resistance. And then what does the chart like to do? Basically a big elevator to the downside, something again like this red candlestick, for example, on INTU on the 5 minute. This could also simply happen here, right, on Gap as well. So I want to be very, very careful and mindful of that. Let me get some drinks ready here. I definitely want to put some alerts already, also for the purposes of trading around these levels. Then, for example, tomorrow or next week, whenever they do want to hit. So I'm going to place some alerts for INTU at 596.22. And then the next level below that is for me 550, 559. And of course, we don't need to come to those levels, but I would rather be alerted if we do come there and not just be like, oh yeah, actually this stock came to one of my levels of support. I missed it. I didn't look, and then I didn't take a trade if maybe there was a trade to be taken. But as I said, maybe this is already a strong little reversal candlestick here on the 5 minutes. So big wick, lots of volume closing back above our previous level here. That's nice. What kind of drinks? I'm thirsty. I got some orange juice with strawberry, and I also got an energy drink champion. That's what I'm having. Yep. It's 10 p.m. here, after 10 p.m. So want to make sure to keep some energy going. I love pineapple juice. So do I, man. So do I. Absolutely. That's a nice little bounce here for INTU off of our 632.4. But I also want to take a look at what else has their earnings here. I see CPRT apparently, right? Copar, I've never ever heard of this, but we can maybe take a look at it as well. So for now, what I'll do is I will place an alert here for gap as well if it would cross above to 22.87. And until it does that, I'm very much not interested, right? So we can anyways take a look at some other tickers and maybe have some levels for those as well. J Bull. Oh, there we go. Is a deer or a bull? Good evening, Porter. We're just looking at INTU, nice little earnings snook, and then a good candlestick here on the 5 minute, putting a little bit of a bottom. And we're also taking a look at the gap with main resistance at 22.87. And we're just about to jump into this thing here. Copar, let's see what this has in store for us. Again, I don't even know what this company does or what it is. It's not really important to me. This does look like an incredible chart, you guys. Let me just move INTU a little bit to the side here. Can make this a bit smaller. My God, what a chart here on this CPRT. Look, like I said, I don't know what this company does, right? I could go and check, most certainly. But this chart in and of itself already basically tells a story. It's quite literally a decade-long bull market. And in such bull markets, no, it's not a trend line. It's a line that shows where the chart started from and where it's ending. So there's no trend line here. You're imagining that. Also, here we are. I'll immediately go back to gap because I see that we're crossing that level that I've noted, right? So that's the power of alerts. If anything were to change to the chart, boom, I'm immediately aware. I can immediately go back. I see that probably now they've said something. Some people got stopped out, like literally what was on this chart here, right? The big red arrow. If you recall what I said not even 10 minutes ago, like literal quotation, right? People were long here with stops on all these lows with all these small candlesticks. And what did the chart do? It basically nuked down, took all these stops out. And if we can now go and close above 22.87, I'm telling you that's a strong, strong breakout confirmation candle, as I'm also now seeing volume pickup, something that we haven't had after the open. So I guess, and again, that's the power of an alert. I can get that gap stuff out of my chart and look at something different. And then 2 seconds later, something happens. I can be aware of that. Let's see. Auctioning of vehicle. What am I? All right, I need to open these charts. How do you do it? No, man, I'm not a master by any means. I'm just experienced in this. I've been doing this for a while now, and I understand how they like to build up charts, right? So all day, gap is just kind of slow grind up. And all day, people are incentivized to speculate on something. And speculate, for example, in the sense of going long and then placing a stop loss on any of these lows. And then earnings comes, all of them get nuked out and straight back above the orange level there, right? And that's also immediately where you get zapped to. So that is quite literally what you will see in bull markets, right? Bull markets, you get huge corrections that happen very, very quickly, and then they get bought up immediately. There's basically just too much leverage in the system, uh, too many people that are too overexposed, and who is actually making this chart, right? They need to fill larger orders, larger buy orders, and they're not interested in just market buying this all day. No, they want to take up stop losses from people who are way too over eager to trade this on size. So let's see. We still have a minute and 55 seconds. And it's always very important for at least to wait for your 5-minute candle closures, right? So if this candlestick here just kind of busts a nut above the orange line and then closes back below, that's not the breakout which I'm looking at, right? It needs to bust above, close above, and then it would need to come back down and hold that level as support to basically go higher. That's how that would ideally then work. And same thing here for INTU. Like I said, that candlestick with a large amount of volume, that's what you like to see to kind of give you a little bit more conviction that they've made a little important short-term bottom there. But of course, anything can happen. It's all incredibly volatile, and by no means should you be trading this. Bro, on this monthly gap is going to zero. Damn, that's a problem, bro. Gap going to zero. I was just explaining to the people how 20, 25 years ago, I remember going to the United States and seeing Gap stores. I think it's that long ago, right? I think it's a very long time that and how long have they actually been listed on the stock exchange? Let's see. Um, my God, 1970s. Yeah, yeah, same exact company. I've been there somewhere in the late 90s, early 2000s, actually, when they were when they were booming there. It's an impressive range that Gap has made over the years, right? A range high there all the way at $31, and then a range low all the way at $5. That's a big range to ping pong in. But I personally don't think this is bearish, right? I am just looking at the candlesticks, and I think this is a good voluminous breakout above resistance here. So I would expect this to come maybe back either today or tomorrow to 2287, and then basically to take off further. So again, you by no means should copy anything, right? This is all incredibly volatile, and I wouldn't suggest that you trade this, most certainly not after hours, right? But this is exactly what I'm going to be looking at tomorrow. Just FYI. Not financial advice, nothing you should do. This is completely what I'm going to be looking at with my own money. I would like to see that gap comes back to 2287. I would like to see that level flip into support, and I would like to put my stop basically $1 lower, right? It's very simple. Very simple trade setup. Goes a dollar lower, I'm out, right? I wouldn't want this to be all the way back to $20 because you see how quickly it can go, right? And who is to say that the next nuke does get bought up? So tight stop loss and just playing a simple flip from this resistance into a support. Now, if it goes up in one straight line, Jay, what do you do? Well, absolutely nothing, right? I've just explained what I'm looking to do. So if it goes up in one straight line, there's nothing to do yet. That's as simple as I can put that. So that would be the trade setup there for Gap. Long 2287, target 125, 2537, and a stop loss nicely $1 below that. That's a 4.4% risk. You can make that work. Draw fair value gap. Bro, that's what you do. I don't typically respond. I don't typically do well with people texting me in caps and then doing what they're asking me to do, Sir Porter. Maybe you ask me that again without caps. I'll give it a thought. If you ask me again without caps, I'll draw you a fair value gap, bro. Then you've been a good boy. If it goes straight up on 3 candles, I need to spank Porter, man. I didn't just say that. That's been said in the chat here. That's funny. Anyways, you guys, this position, this trade idea, you don't worry that the price just runs up in one straight line. It can easily come back at some point. It can come back tomorrow. This is anyways a level which you would keep in mind. Now, if it does not come back to that level, what do we do? Well, for the premium members, I'll give you more and more options tomorrow, because as this goes higher, maybe we'll be able to trade momentum. And then tomorrow, off of the open, we get a pullback into, for example, a fair value gap, as Porter just explained, and then we'll be able to take a trade position as well. Just I cannot, in good faith, just tell you to jump in long on a big green candlestick, right? I like to trade the break and the retest, and if it just flies, it flies. But that's a very, very nice move, right? What a move from the bottom there, just 10 minutes ago. That's a 22% move, also just in 10 minutes. And you see just how important the volume is. Without tons of volume, you're not going anywhere. You're gonna hit resistance, you're gonna come back down, you're gonna ping pong without a lot of volume. But with big volume, you can break something and you can really look to explore new areas in the chart. So anyways, I'm gonna keep that in. And for INTU here as well, just this is kind of just crabbing. So what I would like to see on INTU is basically where this gets back below this level. And for example, tomorrow does something like this. So at this point, a lot of people will be long, stop loss under this exact low, for example, that after hours low. And then tomorrow, what do you get, for example? Again, no guarantees. Maybe it just runs up in one straight line, but it will often like to revisit that low to just make sure that anybody who is long with a stop on that low is basically taken out of the market. Now, if that happens, for example, it nukes into these two levels here, and then it basically manages to get back above these two levels. That's a very, very solid double bottom little long setup you got in your hands there. It's just important to see that in advance. So a good little a next leg down that takes us below $600. Everybody gets convinced that it's over, and then you get back above 603, and then before you know it, this can squeeze back up easily. So something like this, a little double bottom play, that would be excellent for INTU. CPRT is even money after earnings. Wait, hold up a second. You guys are looking at different tickers. Let's catch up to that. CPRT, you say, right? Copar. That's what we're looking at indeed. Let's take a look. Extended trading hours. Oof. Let's put in the volume. Something tells me here that this is all on very little volume. Let's delete these things, right? So if you see something like this, again, anything can happen, but that's definitely not something that I would be trusting here short term, right? It's just gapping up on no volume and immediately gapping back down. That's a little bit of a pump and dump scheme here on Copar, even though that is a nice bull market in the general picture. That's not what I like to see, at least here on lower time frames, that we're literally going to sit here and have no volume. That's not it, right? This is way more it for gap, right? It's fine to have little volume, little, and then you make a move and the big volume comes in, and you know it's time to take a look at it. But CPRT, I will keep this maybe on my watch list, but not for today. I think gap and INTU are really the two nicest movers. If I'm wrong, you can correct me, but for now, that seems to be it. I like to play stocks after earnings. I do. Yeah. It is a good question. I like to play stocks after earnings. Absolutely. I take a lot of ideas from these streams themselves, right? Every single week I come on here, Thursday, come and get acquainted with stocks that have their earnings. I'm in this in the team, and we all know what to look at. So I get all these ideas on all these levels. And yeah, absolutely. I like to play it after earnings, just not immediately, right? It depends how quickly we're going to come to my levels and show what I need to see. But yeah, earnings is a very nice catalyst. So for example, and as a little, maybe a 5-minute bonus, right? For everybody who stayed this far, I hope you have your levels noted on INTU. I hope you have the ID here on GAP also. And again, for the premium guys, tomorrow you can expect for GAP that I'm going to play some continuation and look at some pullbacks between 10 and 11 a.m. But yeah, I like to play stocks after earnings. For example, right, we had Snowflake with their earnings yesterday. And it's needless to say that earnings move was a market moving event. So now finally, what this chart has basically done after sitting down there at the support for about half a year, or at least a good part of the year, we now got a volatile move. I'm very, very able to just basically play after seeing such a move, because everybody then thinks that, oh, well, now we're going up only, right? No, now I can get convinced that that the bear market here is over. And I can get convinced that if this would retrace, then I'm smashing the bid. But if this does not retrace, then I'm letting it run, because the last thing I'm going to do is buy someone else's bags here at these prices here after being up for 20%, right? And sure, or 30%. So sure, tomorrow this can go up another 30%, but that's not what I'm going to be looking at, right? I'm going to be trusting and not trusting, not hoping. Just I know from experience, right, that it's most likely not going to go up in one straight line. So by the way, right, if you don't pay yourself, sure, this can run up in one straight line, but it could also come back down and maybe test an inversion fair value gap. That's a very specific concept that I explain in my coaching, right? So if we could come back into this large box here, right? And this is now a move after earnings. If it comes back, I'm not looking to be part of the first move. I know that the second move, you make a first move, and that move can be enormous. And then that tricks people into buying. And before you know it, you get a little teleportation back down, which no, it's not bearish, right? It's probably coming in for a higher low. And at that point, I step into the market and I take it and I join it for the next leg up, for example. So earnings, I don't like to immediately trade it. It's not, oh, we now have a big green candlestick and I immediately today I'm gonna buy or sell this. But a couple of days later, right? This probably, or a week later, this probably comes back into levels which are then interesting. By the way, if you take this as advice to go short, that would be very, very silly, because that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm saying. I would not suggest you go short on Snowflake. I've never suggested that, right? This can just simply continue up and tomorrow you're at 211. That's possible. That's not what I'm thinking. So I'm going to be looking probably somewhere and people look and see Snowflake trading at, for example, 149, right? To give a simple example. Actually, that's still very bullish. It's a higher low, but people are going to panic. And that's exactly where I want to buy from. I don't want to buy in a market where people are all looking to buy. I want to buy from people who are in panic. They're looking at their backs. They're like, oh, damn, I bought this at 120. I wrote this to 170. Now I'm back at 150. What do I do? Oh, I'll take some profit. Sure, you take some profit. You sell the shares to me, and I take it for the next leg up. So yeah, earnings is a great catalyst for great trade setups to basically appear. Absolutely. Farouk is indeed special, Nikki. And so are you. We're all special. We're all special. Maybe Porter is even the specialist. The specialist, right? Except Austin. He's definitely not special. Nah, he is very special. Anyways, you guys, I hope this was a nice half an hour of earnings review on INTU GAP, a little bonus on Snowflake. I'm going to end the stream right here. I'll upload this.